Hey everybody, this is Mr. Sodders, your AP Government and U.S. Politics teacher. Today we're going to focus on topic 1.1, Ideals of Democracy. This will be our first topic of our first unit in AP Government. We're going to focus by focusing on the following content. We will explain how democratic ideals are reflected in the Declaration of Independence and Constitution. The essential knowledge. 1.A.1 The U.S. government is based on ideas of limited government, including natural rights, popular sovereignty, republicanism, and social contract. And 1.A.2 is the Declaration of Independence, drafted by Jefferson with help from Adams and Franklin, provides a foundation for popular sovereignty, while the U.S. Constitution, drafted at the Philadelphia Convention, led by George Washington, which important contributions from Madison, Hamilton, and members of the Grand Committee provide the blueprint for a unique form of political democracy in the United States. If you focus, there are some very important vocabulary words, including natural rights, popular sovereignty, republicanism, and social contract. And if you take note, we're going to focus on looking at the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution and their roles in forms of popular sovereignty and political democracy. To start off, we need to think about those important vocabulary words that are included in the democratic ideals. The first is natural rights, second, popular sovereignty, third, republicanism, and fourth, social contract. When we think about natural rights, we want to think about the benefits of government to which every citizen is entitled. That is from a textbook by Janda from 2012. In the natural rights, it is the understanding is that you, as a human being, have these rights. They cannot be taken away from you. They should not be taken away from you. And so that's a really important idea, particularly when we think about natural rights. Those have been written down for us in the Bill of Rights. And so, for example, the First Amendment in the Bill of Rights focuses on the right of free speech, the right and the freedom of assembly, freedom of religion. And so with those rights, they cannot be denied to you from the government. So natural rights really focuses on your rights in comparison to the government in which you live under. Second, popular sovereignty or popular consent. That is from our current textbook, O'Connor and Sabato of 2018. When we think about popular sovereignty, the focus is that the people should be able to control or the people should be able to have influence over their government, that governments get their power from the people, and that sometimes may come in the form of majority rule, that those that get 50% plus one of the vote ultimately have the power. Something else we need to think about in terms of the democratic ideals is republicanism. It's a form of government in which power resides in the people, but the key here is that it is exercised by their elected representatives. Republicanism is different from popular sovereignty. Republicanism includes this idea that we have elected representatives, that we, the people, elect our representatives, and those representatives will make decisions on our behalf. The fourth democratic ideal is the social contract, and that is related to natural rights. The social contract is the belief that government exists based on the consent of the governed, that we, the people, give the government permission to be the government. However, part of that contract is that if the government violates those natural rights, violates those rights that are defined and given and provided to us, then that relationship between the person and the government can be severed. And so if a group of people, if the entire country believes their rights have been denied, then those people have a right to break from their government. And that is a great transition into some of the key ideas and the origins of those ideals of democracy. When we think about what the ideals of democracy is, what those ideals are, they are inspired by the Enlightenment. The Enlightenment is something that we learn a lot about in our world history classes. We think about the people, the thinkers of the time, who start to think of the world in a more secular way. secular meaning the absence of government, trying to rationalize the relationship and the role of human beings. Thomas Hobbes had a definition of the state of nature in the absence of government. Thomas Hobbes believes that a state of nature is a terrible place, and a state of nature exists if there is no government. That the purpose of government is to preserve life and property. In Leviathan, okay, he requires a single ruler with strict laws. That the purpose of government needs to be strict, it needs to be powerful, it must control the people. But if we want to live in a civil society, it's the small price we pay. John Locke was different in his ideas. In the Second Treatise of Government of 1690, Locke proposes and really pushes for the idea that government's job is to protect liberty and rights. That the main focus of government is not to control the people or maintain order per se, but to ensure that our freedoms and our rights are guaranteed. Baron de Montesquieu, in the Spirit of Laws of 1748, also goes in and says, yes, we need to have a democracy, but powers of our government must be separated, thus controlling the government, because power is not focused or concentrated in one group of people. On the top, you can see Thomas Hobbes. On the bottom, you can see a picture of John Locke. Okay. What you can expect to do in class is to review your reading of the Declaration of Independence. So you're going to complete, before you come into class, an analytical reading of the Declaration of Independence. Before you come to class, be sure to take some time to complete the analytical reading assignment. Please come to class with any questions or concerns. In your analytical reading, you're going to be doing some pre-reading questions. You're going to read the text, not the entire text of the Declaration, but some important parts of the text. And then you'll be doing some analysis after you're done with the reading. When you come to class, be prepared to compare the Declaration with the ideas of John Locke in order to determine the ways that Locke inspired Thomas Jefferson's ideas. If you have any questions, reach out to me. If you have to by email, that is fine. I'm always available to help you in your ideas. Thanks so much.